Hi, I'm Lodico, a missionary to Mexico. This is a little bit of my testimony. So how did I get into missions? Well, first, I will go back when I was younger. I was raised in a Christian home, but I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. So I knew of God, but I didn't really know his goodness and his faithfulness when things happen in life that we don't understand. So what I did was go the opposite way. My family experienced a really terrible hardship, and it just caused me to lose faith completely. And I moved to New York at the age of 18 and lived a very prodigal daughter lifestyle. I was partying a lot, living with boyfriends, chasing money, working and climbing the corporate ladder. And at the end of the day, I was so empty inside. According to the world, on the outside, I looked like I had everything that anyone would ever want, but I knew that I was missing something. So I started to reconnect with my faith again. And little by little, I felt God pulling me closer to his heart. One weekend, I went to visit my parents at a church service, and it was there, that service, that I gave my heart back to Jesus. From there, my life completely turned over a whole other leaf. I ended up getting a missions calling after going on a mission trip to Nicaragua, and it was totally by faith. I'd only been a Christian for about a year, and I felt like initially I had no business being there. I didn't know my Bible back to front. I just only started really going to church and getting in community and serving, but God wanted me on that mission trip in 2017 to Nicaragua. So after I got my call, 4 months later, I was on a mission trip to Colombia, and things just continued to snowball after that. And every time I went on a new mission trip, I just continued to ask the Lord, hey, are you sure you want me to be a missionary? And he continued to show his faithfulness each and every step of the way. In 2018, I became an intern in El Salvador and decided I was going to take the 3 months to serve my heart out and see where God wants me to serve as a missionary. So at the end of the trip, he said El Salvador, and that's when I applied to become a missionary. In 2019, I was approved and ready to start my fundraising process. But of course, as we all know and experienced it individually, COVID happened. And that was very, very scary for me. It was another faith-stretching process where I had to trust that God would provide and make a way. So with COVID, it took about 2.5 years to finally put my feet on the mission field. And it wasn't just COVID that I struggled with as well during that time of fundraising to get to El Salvador. It was also doubts. People were calling me crazy. They were saying I could find just a stable job, that maybe God hadn't called me to the mission field. But the call was so deep that I knew that God wanted me to go. So there I was, finally in 2022, able to put my feet on the ground. I arrived in Costa Rica first to go to language school for about 8 months, and then El Salvador for 7 months. During my time in El Salvador, I started having really severe health struggles. I'm a chronic illness warrior. I've had it since I was 8 years old, but now in El Salvador during that time, they found out I had a secondary diagnosis. So with all that going on between transitioning, moving countries, following the Lord, just being faithful in the call to missions, and trying to do my best to be a light in a dark place, my health started to decline, and I needed to go get a second opinion in Mexico. Once arriving to Mexico, the second diagnosis was being treated immediately. Not only were doctors being so responsive and helping me get better, God was opening doors for ministry for me to stay there and serve in Mexico. I started working for Castilla del Rey, Mexico, and got connected with a local church plant where the pastor is the director of Castilla del Rey in the state of Jalisco. We are so passionate about children, and I just can't do anything else right now but brag about how God changes lives and how he keeps you even when things are going awry. A great need that I see in Mexico is both poverty and spiritual poverty. Where I live in Chapala, Mexico, I see children running around selling fruits, vegetables, anything that they can sell to help provide for their families. Often children are sold into slavery or left on the doorsteps of an orphanage just because their families can't take care of them. It's really heartbreaking when I don't see a kid for a couple days and we're just asking the family members, where'd they go? Another part of it too is that the New Age is really heavy in this area of Mexico. Where I live in Lake Chapala, a lot of people, travelers from Europe, Canada, all over the world, come believing that this lake is an energy source for healing. And along with that is the indigenous beliefs that the Mexicans still practice today. A big part of my role in Mexico is to help revive a ministry called Castillo del Rey. So the funny thing about this ministry is that it was banned out of the country 30 years ago, and God connected me, as I said before, with the director of Castillo del Rey in Jalisco, and him and I and his family have a vision to just bring more children to Jesus. With Castillo del Rey, it's a discipleship and ministry program where we evangelize to children. And as we bring children closer to Jesus through songs, dramas, and dances, we connect them to a local church. It is our heart to raise the next generation.
Se hunde, y se salvan tres.
I've seen God move in amazing, miraculous ways working on the mission field, but one in particular. So in Mexico, we run 2 children's programs every Saturday. And why do we run these programs? It's because a lot of these kids don't live close to the church, and they don't have a church to go to. So we run these programs to disciple them and minister the gospel to them. And they're just wonderful. So this one child in particular, his name is Panchito, and he had an appendicitis. And that was an opportunity for us as missionaries to pray, but also teach the children how to pray over a friend in need. So all the little kids gathered around Panchito, and we prayed for Panchito, and we came together in agreement that he will be healed. And he ended up going to the doctor, and he was okay, and joined us for the next Saturday program. And that was truly very encouraging to me too, and the kids, that our God still moves today. If you feel led to partner with me to support Mexico missions, you can visit giving.ag.org and use my account number 297639, and you could support me monthly or a one-time gift. Any amount is an absolute blessing to doing God's work in Mexico. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and praying and supporting Mexico missions. It is a blessing. God bless you.